Now let's talk about Google. The US Justice Department wants to break it up. It began with an anti-competition lawsuit. In August, a judge ruled that Google was crushing competition. So now the US Justice Department has come up with a solution. They say Google should sell Chrome, the search engine Chrome. Remember, Google is the undisputed king of search engines. It dominates 90% of the market, which makes it a very powerful monopoly. But the US wants to break it up. This is a rare and significant proposal. Antitrust breakups like this are very, very rare, and they could cost you and me. Our next report tells you how.
The year is 2040. Google is broken up. You want to decide where to eat. You have a plethora of choices. Every search engine comes up with a different list. You need the route to the restaurant. One mapping app is a thing of the past. You have multiple apps and multiple routes. You want to download an app? There are hundreds of app stores. They're all vying for users, fees are lower, and the choices are many. Your data, too, isn't held captive by one company. It isn't concentrated in a few massive silos. It's free-flowing, and you get to decide which app you share it with. If it sounds too good to be true, well, it's because it is. We live in a world of big tech monopoly. Power is concentrated in the hands of a few, namely 5 companies: Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, Meta, and Microsoft. The United States now wants to break one of those companies, Google. It wants to end its search monopoly. So the Department of Justice has asked Google to sell off Chrome. Now, Google dominates the search market. If you need to find anything on the internet, you don't search for it, you Google it. It controls over 90% of the market share. In August, US District Judge Amit Mehta delivered a landmark anti-competition ruling. It found that Google illegally suppresses its competition. So the Department of Justice wants to break this monopoly. It wants Google to sell Chrome. Of course, Google will not go down without a fight. Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai is already dialing Donald Trump. He spoke to the US President-elect, and Elon Musk was also part of the call. We don't know what they spoke about, but the Trump administration may not be of much help. After all, the lawsuit against Google was filed during the last few months of the first Trump administration. So Google can't bank on Trump completely. Now, the final decision will come only by 2025, so there's still some time. But even if Google is asked to break up, there will be a couple of problems. Number one, it will take a lot of time. Tech antitrust cases take years. In 1999, a federal judge asked Microsoft to break up. The company appealed it. The decision was overturned. So antitrust corporate breakups are very rare, even when the government is gunning for it. The second problem is an alternative. Over the years, Google has had many rivals. Case in point, Microsoft's Bing. But nothing has dampened its popularity. People associate search with Google. And while the judge wants to carve out Chrome, Chrome is free only because it's part of Google. Once it's not, it's difficult to say whether it can sustain as a standalone business. Who will bear the cost of that? Well, it's the customers. They'll be charged for services that are now free. So while breaking up Google may be the dominant sentiment, it isn't sustainable without other options. Also, who's to say the government won't cut a deal with Google and nip this in the bud? After all, they did it with Microsoft 2 decades ago. Breaking up big tech isn't just about ending monopolies, it's about creating a world where technology serves humanity and not the other way around.